In a past project where I was product owner, we had that very bad idea that we thought was good in the first place to have a middle ground between a client who were used to Waterfall and us who were used to develop things in Agile. The middle ground, I've seen it done again and again, and I realize it's time to explain why it's a bad idea, why it looks good in the first place. The way people see it is, why don't we do the way we do a big functional document, big functional spec document, and after that, we're gonna develop it by doing incremental user story. We break down that big document and we develop in Agile the way we used to do. That project turned out to be hell. Actually, it took us a while to understand what's wrong with that approach. And I'd like to share it today because I know it's done a lot and I still see it again. So here's what happens. I think we understate completely how complicated can be a big functional document, big functional specification. And that's the core of the problem. So let me explain to you what's complicated about it. Let's say my functional document looks like this, right? It's big, it's thick. Now, how do you write that? You start from a logic perspective, whether, I don't know, you're buying something complicated for insurance contracts or, I don't know, an e-commerce website, and you have a lot of rules on how you're gonna pay what you just bought and everything. Or you do some mathematical equation that you want to break it down. The point is, when I'm writing this document, I'm following a functional logic, and there's actually, it's not designed for development. It doesn't tell me how I will develop a solution implementing these rules. As a developer, you show me this, I can't answer the one most basic question, where do I start? Like, what's the first thing I should develop? And then after that, which is next and which is next? To give you an example, probably I need something no bigger than that. That, I can take it, I can figure out the beginning of a structure, develop it, get it tested by someone else, preferably, and have it done in what, half a day or a day. That's what I'm looking at. And after you give me this one, then I can get the second one. Eventually, over time, you can give me something with, you don't need text, it can be just drawings, but this is the kind of size I'm looking at, and I'm just panning up. That's what I need as a developer. That's what I need as a tester, and this, it doesn't fit. Plus, it's overwhelming. When we use that kind of document, for example, in all the methodologies like Waterfall, after that document was written, we take a long phase where we take the document, we analyze it completely, and from there we find out what's the technical structure we want, and basically we create a development plan. But that document is far from the development phase, right? In Agile, we go shorter. We wanna write down the functional things and the requirements piece by piece, incrementally. So naturally, we get into them like this. But I mean, naturally, they're gonna fit. They're gonna be development oriented. So that's thing number one. Now, that type of document is very hard to verify. First, there's just the size and the thickness. But let's face it, this is just words, right? If I'm writing code, if two things don't match, I'll give you an example. I don't know if you had that type of document. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it's supposed to be verified, but you find one page says age of user should be more than 18 years old. 2 pages later, something mentioned age being more than 21 years old. Wait, is it a different rule? Is it the same rule, but it's a mismatch? I've seen that before. So we all make mistakes. The problem with that type of document is if I tell you to verify it, it costs a lot of time. We're not set for it in an Agile project. And same thing. How do you start verifying? So it takes a lot of cross-site, cross-effort, and cross-analysis to check this. What happens is the document will go to development and stay unchallenged for the whole process, development, test, and everything. If you have mismatched rules like this, you're going to see at the development level that the two rules don't match. But sometimes you have a coherent mistake made all along, like it's just a bad rule, and you find out only at the end when you have somebody sees the software. Well, sometimes you don't even see it and it goes to production. So it's very hard to actually verify and check such a document. Now let's say you found a mistake during development or test phase. You find something to change. Question is, okay, how do you fix it? Are you changing the document yourself? Are you reaching out to the person who wrote that document? Chances are that person thinks the job is done. she's not ready to get back at that document, getting the logic of it. But okay, let's say you do have a fix. Now, how do you push that back to development? What do you do? Do you do the same document, but you put version 3.3? Well, we're back at it. Then I'm a developer. What just changed? How do I know what is the part that has been changed? How do I know it's everything that has changed is only on page 20, but not on page 42 and 43, and that the logic's still there? So we're back at it again. Design is difficult to get an update on this document that is meaningful for the software development after that. Now, here we are. Hard to get into development, hard to verify, hard to fix, and hard to form an update that will be smooth for the development process behind it. That also means one thing. You cannot update with more creative options on that document. Let's say you have a deadline and it's hard. You cannot simplify that easily because, again, how do you update it and push it to development? So you cannot simplify. You cannot be creative. If somebody has a better idea last minute, 2 weeks before production release, you still cannot push it. So that's actually why we stopped doing Waterfall. But that means for the project I mentioned, that turned to a freaking mess. It was supposed to last a month and a half, and it lasted in the end, between 1 and 2 months. It lasted 4 months. The point is, whenever we had problem, we didn't have the option for being creative functionally. We could just be smooth in development, but we kind of stuck. Like if you have a problem, you can't recover for it. It's going to be as slow as it gets. You cannot find shortcuts in your product design, for example. Not everybody writes something that suits their development team. The way you write and depending on the team, there may just be enough detail for them, or there may be too much details or not enough. Or they can't read your English, damn it. So to find the right balance in Agile, it's easy. You write 1, 2, 3 user stories, and already the team will make feedback. I don't get that, this is too complicated, that detail is good enough, I'm missing detail here and there, can you focus a little more on this and that? Every team has their own preference. Every product dictates a different style of functional specifications. So you will have time to find your ground, to find what works on your team. With that, if it just so happens that it's not readable for the team, you stuck with it.